Good morning, everybody. We're here in the studio today to talk about how excited we are to be a part of the Flower Showhouse here in Nashville, Tennessee. It's Flower Magazine, and it's going to be October 9th. It's the opening party, and it runs 3 weeks, basically through the end of October. If you want more detailed information, you can go to flowermagazine.com. They have ticket information and a list of all the designers. It's interesting because there's actually going to be a plethora of 20 designers. They're all across the country, so it's not just a Nashville Showhouse. It is just based in Nashville, and I was excited to be invited to participate, and I'm going to be doing the dining room, which I personally love dining rooms, so it was a thrill to be chosen to do the dining room. And I'm partnering with Jonathan Charles for furniture and Kravitz Fabrics for all the fabric and wall coverings, and I have long-term partnerships with both of them. Wesley Hall is providing some banquettes for me, and I'll have some antiques and other things scattered in there. Curry & Company is also a partner for a gigantic chandelier, because the dining room is actually 13 feet tall with a 3-foot cupola above. So it's quite a massive room. And so to that point, I really wanted to figure out how to make it more approachable and more intimate so that it didn't feel too austere, because the house is quite grand, but of course my key characteristic in my work is approachability. So I really wanted to make it warm and inviting. So we'll start with a floor plan, which is right here, and you can see the room's about 14 by 25. It has one whole opening, very large opening that's probably 20 feet wide, that's opened into this, they call it an atrium, but it's like a grand hall that's 2 stories. There's a living room across the way. But we have 3 wonderful arched doors. We have a pair of chests. You don't have one long wall to put a server on, so I'm doing a pair of serving chests. And then I have a pair of antique pedestals I found for this side of the room. We'll have really intricate window treatments across, which is one of my specialties, window treatments. You know I love those. And then we have a 13-foot dining table, again from our friends at Jonathan Charles. This is a custom table that I had made, and we're going to do another video later showing the process of ordering and selecting all the choices to build a custom dining table. I have chosen oval because it's really my favorite shape for dining tables, because it just lends itself to feeling more intimate with the rounded corners, and you can always also cram in more people because you can put 2 people at the head versus just 1, and it's pretty comfortable. I've also chosen to do the banquettes in the center of the table rather than having a dozen dining chairs, because I feel like that's very leggy and it feels very, again, austere. So by doing skirted banquettes, it just brings in some softness, and it also invites lounging, I think, after dinner, which is nice. And then we'll have an antique rug. So it's pretty straightforward. It does have an attached butler's pantry that we're going to do as a traditional butler's pantry with just china and silver and crystal storage to service the dining room, because the kitchen's actually pretty far away from the dining room, because this is a very large house. And then there's going to be a large bar in the salon, which is again across our living room that's across the hallway. And so that would be where all the liquor and wine would live. So I didn't want to make it sort of more like a wine storage butler's pantry. It's truly a butler's pantry to service the dining area. So we can talk about finishes now, which I think I'm super excited. Or one thing I want to do, we could actually, before finishes, is show you the elevation of the dining room. This has a wonderful sort of picture here that shows the raw space when they demoed the existing space, but it has a large cupola skylight. This is actually probably, 15 feet long by 8 feet wide, and it goes up another 3 feet. So again, it really enhances volume. And if you look at the elevation, the architect supplied these elevations, which I have used to scale out like the height of my window treatment, the drop of my swag and jabot. I've also drawn in the Curry chandelier, and so I wanted to see, since I've not been able to go over there very often. Please, just turn it off. Sorry guys, it's really been a struggle bus today to do this video. We've been interrupted. The Wi-Fi's cut out 3 times, and so now we're just posting it as a video. So we have Again, I really just, again, with it being, me not having a lot of access to the show house, I wanted to scale this out. So I've dotted in the length of the dining table. I have drawn in like my flower arrangements and the height of my hurricanes that I'm going to be using from our partners. William Eward's going to supply all of the crystal for the table. And so anyway, that's the elevation there. But I've also sketched out placement of, this is the pair of doors leading to the great room. And I've found these antique pedestals. I've drawn them in with urns, and then I may do some dishware. You know, I love dishes on the wall. So I sort of sketched that out. And on the other side, going into the butler's pantry, I've drawn in my serving chests, lamps. I'm going to do a pair of oriental screens, and then this is going to be a large round mirror, just again to create some more architecture, almost look like a window above the door. So this is how we plan things out to make sure there are no surprises when we get in there to install. And then, so yeah. So we can stay, since we're talking about the dining room, we can stay in the dining room and I can show you the furniture. This is, this shows a detail. This is the actual inlay I selected with flowers. Since it is Flower Magazine, I've really embraced the theme of flowers in this room. So the band of the table, this inlay will have this ribbon of flowers around it. It's actually a 9-foot table with two 24-inch leaves to expand and to 13 feet. This is the wood finish of the special walnut, and it'll have ebonized pedestals with gold leaf at the base and gold leaf on the bottom edge of the lip. So when you're doing custom, you can truly call out every little detail that you want. The chests, which are here, they are going to be finished in this sort of French gray, which I think is really pretty. And you've got gold leaf around here. So I have a pair of these. And these are the dining chairs over here. Again, this is all Jonathan Charles. You have this wonderful shield back. These are all, the gold leaf is hand applied on these. And then this is a picture from the factory showing my fabric applied to the chair. So the print, Ruthann has a piece here to show you. This is from Mulberry, which is one of the brands that Kravet owns. And it's got, I loved this pattern because we did have some, and the colors, because we did have some pre-existing finishes. The architect specified, again, the architect is Pfeffer Tarode, based here in Nashville. And they had already selected like the trim color of the house and the which is this one, and the cabinet color of the butler's pantry. So, and they also selected the marble for the countertop and backsplashes. So I wanted to coordinate these earth tones, and there's a little bit of purple in here that's kind of hard to, every now and then you get a flash of like this lavender. So I picked, this is a wonderful inlaid wood grain. These are all pieces of wood that have been applied. And this is from Winfield Taboni, which again is distributed by Kravet. But this has, the wood color, the floor color is this blonde white oak. So I loved how that, and this is very contemporary for me. So I liked the idea of being, because you have so much cabinetry and marble in that room. So
this is the butler's
Correct.
pantry. Okay.
So this will show you why I picked the colors I did in the dining room, because all this was pre-existing. So this shows how it's going to look. This is like a inspiration pick, but this shows like the elevations. You have a lot of cabinetry. You don't have a lot of wall space. You're really only going to have the ends of the walls in the like here, and the ceiling is all going to be covered in this wood inlaid paper. So that was all, like I said, the cabinetry with this kind of, I don't know what you want to call this, kind of sagey, mushroom sage, and then this marble. I found this wonderful print. It really is the first thing we found. I looked for like weeks after that. And this really was perfect because it has, I don't know if you can see here, but it has a large iris and it has camellias. And iris is the state flower of Tennessee. So I love the tie-in with our state, since this is a show house in Tennessee. And that's going to be on my window treatments, my dining chairs, and the banquettes. So everything's going to be covered in this floral. And this, damask velvet is going to be the show lining of my swags and jabots. So you'll just see a little bit of that fabric on the tail of this and a little bit on the swag. And then this sort of black, I like the idea, there's a little bit of charcoal in this print. So I pulled out this little ruche trim. It'll sew in, you know, like this. And just this little bit of trim on the edges just to bring some drama and detail. And then I found an Oriental rug. Love, love, love this Persian. This is what they call a scenic. It's hard to tell, but there's animals. There's several animals. And it had this kind of pinky purple abrash. It's sage and gold and camel and sort of a bittersweet color in the background. Y'all know I love peach. So you've got some ochre color in here that'll look nice with all of that. And it really is hard to find with Oriental rugs, like antique rugs. Like you have size parameters, you have color parameters. So I've looked through several sources that I use to find the perfect rug for the show house. So this is the one I've picked. The wall, super important, the walls. Okay, this has been, Ruthann and Beth both were not believers, so I'm hoping when they see it installed they will be. But this is actually a silk wall covering from Japan. It's 100% silk. This is going to be the wall covering. And the reason I knew immediately I wanted black walls in that room because it's so large. And with the transom, it is so bright and glaring in the daytime. And again, going back, I think I said this in a previous video, but I think dining rooms are prettiest at night. We have candlelight and sparkle of the dishes and the crystal. And the daytime, you're really going to have a hard time creating that ambiance. So I felt like wrapping everything in black and then having this lighter colored floral fabric on everything will be super dramatic and cast a little bit. It'll eat up a lot of the daylight that'll come into the dining room. It'll just saturate a lot of the daylight and take away the glare. So it'll just feel more romantic. And, you know, the mood is super important in a dining room. Or the mood is important in every room you live in, but especially in dining rooms where you're going to be eating and entertaining. You want to create a sense of drama, and also you want it to envelop the people who are in the room so that they feel comfortable and welcome. The last part was picking out the perfect chandelier. This chandelier is 60 inches tall. Again, you need, I think it's like,
2 pictures.
We got 2 pictures of it. I think you need the height and the width. I think it has like 27 lights. Like it's quite a grand chandelier. And again, it's from our friends at Curry and Company. And you can see how in this gigantic room, I've scaled the size of the chandelier here so that we can make sure it's going to fit the space beautifully and not be too big or too small. But I think also with the black, it'll carry the black grid pattern that's on the cupola will carry down to the wall covering and the chandelier, so it'll all tie together. And the pedestal bases are ebonized in black. So just by repeating those colors, you create a nice rhythm and dialogue among all the different aspects of the space. So that is our Flower Magazine Dining Room Show House. We'll be installing it, actually, I think, next September. So for all the photography.
Next
I was going to say next month, but we're almost in August. So we'll be in, I think, early September because you have to take a lot of photography and they do videos. I mean, I'm super excited to be a part of this because they do a lot of collateral material on their website with videos explaining every room. They sit down with every designer. It's really fun to participate in. It's fun to watch the other designers explain their thought processes. But I thought it would be fun to kind of do a kickoff here in the studio. We started working on this in February, so it has been quite a process to get to where we are now. So again, just wanted to share with you and get you excited about it. I hope you can participate and that you can come and view the show house because it is for a charity. And do we know
the next door?
The next door, which is a recovery house here for women. I think it's really focused on women. So
tickets go on sale August 1st.
Yeah, which is tomorrow. And again, flowermagazine.com will have all your details. It'll list all the designers and the rooms that they're doing and how much it is. But I think, Nashville is such a hot city now, literally and figuratively. So if you wanted to fly in, I think it'd be definitely worth a weekend trip to come down here and view the show house and do some shopping and have some fun. So thank you for watching, and we'll come back with another video soon to explain like how we did the custom dining table and things like that. So I think it would be interesting for you to watch.
Thanks, guys.
Take care.